Eckhart Tolle still has an ego. There, I said it. Hi, I'm Tim with Selfless Awakening, where I like to talk about stuff like that, metaphysics, spirituality, mindfulness, personal growth. If you like what I'm talking about, subscribe, click the little notification to stay up to date, okay? All right, I just wanted to do this video to talk about ego, talk about Eckhart Tolle. I believe Eckhart Tolle still has an ego, and I want to talk about why that's important to make a point of that and talk and sort of break down the distinction of what it means to have an ego and to also be identified with your ego. Those are two different things, okay? So, first of all, I like to think about the ego like this. Your ego is your avatar. It's your personality self. This goes right in alignment with Eckhart Tolle's teachings. He talks about your ego is your collection of labels that add up to who you think you are, your personality construct. For instance, I'm Tim. I grew up a lot of my years in Western New York. I'm 44. I'm a dad. I'm a musician. I'm a personal coach, those kinds of things. These are all of the labels that make up my ego. They make up my avatar, all right? So, does Eckhart Tolle have one? Of course he does. He's got a family story. He's come from somewhere. He's got a way that he likes to dress. He wears lots of fishing vests. He speaks very quietly. So if someone speaks very quietly and looks at the camera with a gaze like this, a soft gaze, does that mean that they're free of ego? Am I free of ego now because I'm doing this? No, that's just a new ego. Being the ego that wears fishing vests is still an ego. It's just another form. It's another avatar. Now, then I know that the Eckhart Tolle purists are like, well, wait, someone's getting defensive now, potentially, all right? Here's the thing that Eckhart's amazing at, I believe. Eckhart doesn't identify with his avatar. He doesn't believe he is that avatar, at least exclusively. He believes that's the avatar he's presenting to the world, but who he really knows himself to be, which is the same person I know myself to be. And if you've had these experiences, you know this as well. He's experiencing himself in a whole different way as the deep non-physical awareness that's always there, that's always present, that's always behind, the one that I'm aware of right now as these words are coming out of my mouth. I'm aware of the deep awareness inside of me that I'm speaking from right now. I'm looking at it, I'm hearing the words in my head, they're coming out of my mouth, going right into the microphone or the camera, right? That's where Eckhart Tolle is living in the witness, in the back. He's inside of that, the watcher of thoughts. That's where he lives. And inside of that identification, you're ego-free. You are not your ego, although from that seat you can witness the ego, all right? So, he's not identified with his fishing vest wearing body, the avatar of Eckhart. He's not identified with that. He's the seat behind it. So he has an avatar, he just doesn't believe he is the avatar. That's the difference, and that's the thing I want to say, because I think it gets really confusing for some people. Be your ego. Be your avatar self. Fully embrace it. Just don't get caught up in the story of thinking you are it, because that's when things get funky. If you think you are your ego, then you're living your life in fear. Because the ego is a temporary. The ego is transient. The ego is going to go away. And the ego is scared to death to lose anything that's in its identity. Okay? It's scared to lose a job. If it says, I have a great job, it's scared to lose the job. And the fear of losing the job for an ego will cause the decisions to be made from that fear. Okay? Fear runs the ego. But when you learn how to detach from the ego, and identify with that deep non-physical awareness that is the true you, you don't play the games of the ego. The fear of the ego and its dying doesn't get you to make decisions. You make decisions from the deeper awareness, and it's a whole different operating software, okay? So, That's the thing to understand. Don't be afraid of having an ego. Don't think that you shaving your head and moving to a monastery and wearing a certain color robe is going to make you ego free. That just makes you have an ego that wears robes and shaves your head. Okay? Your ego is okay to have, it's just your identification with it that's not okay. That's when things get funky. And this is what a new earth is. It's the evolution of self to the point where we're no longer identified with the avatars that we're meeting with in this illusory world. Boom, there it is. Okay, I said it. So hope that helps. Hope that clarifies a little bit of that for you if you're a person that maybe wanted a little clarification with ego. Again, if you like what I'm talking about, subscribe, stay up to date with my latest stuff. Sending you all love and support, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Cheers.